Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode something of Btec Philosophers. I want to say it's like 49. It might even be 50, but here we are.
If it's the 50th, that feels like an honourable.
That is amazing.
Like for your big episode you got.
And we got Athena, and we got
finally been kicked off.
Elliot. Yeah, Elliot has been shadow banned from the podcast. It was hard. No. Elliot is he's in therapy right now.
That's not funny. That's good. We want Elliot to have therapy. We want all men.
But every week, Elliot talks about MMA and about how he goes to fighting and jiu-jitsu. We're saying that I think he actually goes to therapy.
Yeah. And I don't think
instead of that.
I think in his mind, it's not a lie because he is wrestling.
Yeah.
You know?
He's wrestling his demons. And I think now he's just on a big therapy retreat. No, he's skiing in front. He's doing ski comedy because, you know, rich people don't have enough. They need laughter too. But you're hearing the voice of Bella Hole, who has stepped in as co-host.
I'm so happy to be co-host, guest host.
Guest host. Round of applause for Bella Hole, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
And you're also hearing the voice of our special guest this week, Athena Kugblenu.
Special.
Comedian.
Special K.
Special K. That's going to be the name of the episode. Comedian. I feel like comedian's not enough. You have to say like three things. What would you say your three things are?
I'm a comedian, I'm a screenwriter, and voiceover artist.
Voiceover artist. Athena Kublenu. Round of applause. To be round of applause. Enough. Does it sound fine? Okay, it's just me. This porta cabin is getting in my head. I don't know what my three things are. I'd say comedian, activist,
professional glass wearer,
professional glasses.
Professional spectician.
What do you like to activate?
What do I do? Causes. All the causes.
You're doing a lot for the cardigan wearing community right now.
Yeah.
Do you feel like with the cardigan and the glasses, it's too much?
No.
It's very Donald Glover.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
But like not like not.
It's very.
Is it Donald Glover now or Donald Glover like 2015?
I'm just, I love anime.
I'm taking the glasses off, man.
No,
I can see.
This is a good thing. Like, we love you. Can we just state for the record, like, we love this.
Yeah.
Like, this is just this propaganda against black men being geeky, not being a black thing. It's the blackest thing you could do is be geeky.
Yeah.
Malcolm X was a geek.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He read books.
Martin Luther King was a geek.
Yeah.
Nkrumah was a geek. Okay, please drop it. If you're a guy and you're a geek, we love you. I don't know why you think we don't. We want you to be more geeky.
But I'm not a geek though. I'm not a nerd. I don't watch anime.
Oh, do you not?
It's too much. And the manga, I don't want to read.
Power Ball Z, that counts.
Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, Dragon Ball. I still call it Power Ball,
Nah.
Dragon Ball Z counts.
That don't count.
Because
it's not like dubbed. Well, maybe it is.
Pokemon counts too.
Nah, I like Digimon. But also, I'm like, I don't have, like, I don't work hard enough to be like a nerd.
It's
like,
very hard work. Oh God.
You've got to like keep up with stuff and read message boards.
You also have to be able to like insulate yourself from society, you know.
Right, and I'm a social butterfly.
You can really nurture your interests.
Exactly, and it's just not me. So
Are you into video games?
See, again, no, it's just too hard. Like, what I do is sit in my room and stare at the wall. That's not a nerd. That's just like a more of
That's depression.
I get.
What did you ask her to that? I might boy in the corner. So, what have you done with your depression?
Well, thank you for coming on, Athena. I don't know how long I've known you. Probably since I started doing comedy. I think I remember. How long have you been doing?
Oh, so I always have two answers to this. So I started in 2012, but I've only been good since about 2015, 2016.
As it should be.
Yeah.
But you don't think in those 3 years you weren't...
I was kind of finding my way around, not just even how to be good at comedy, but just the logistics of it. I was gigging like once a month. Like,
really?
Oh God, this is hard work, guys.
I'm out.
Yeah.
So just to get into like, and I'm not a social person. I don't like doing stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So which is at odds with being a stand-up. You've got generally have to leave your house to do it.
Yeah.
When the pandemic came, I was like, it's just 10 years too late.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you like people?
I do now.
You do now?
I do, but I'm generally don't like going out and about. So when I realised I'd have to leave my house 3 or 4 times an evening to get good at it, that was a shock to my system.
That was tough.
I got used to it. It was like wearing a pair of trainers.
I'm also the same. Like there are two beasts inside of me, and one of them wants to do comedy, and the other one just I want to cocoon and hibernate. And not do it.
Do you feel like guilty? Sometimes I feel I do this full time now, right? I feel guilty about waking up at like 1 p.m. I don't know if I should or not.
You absolutely should do that. I wake up at about 7 a.m. every day.
Really?
I think if you didn't have a child.
I got 2 of them, but
You got 2 babies?
I'm so sorry.
How old? So you've got a 2-year-old boy
and a 4-year-old girl.
Oh
wow!
I'm very lucky.
You're
Yeah.
done now.
Yeah, because I would have had more, but I started a bit late. I had my first one. I was almost 37 when my first one was born.
Wow.
So I probably, if I'd started younger, I probably would have had another because they were a lot of fun.
And
they
did
were
you
a lot
have
of fun.
any help?
Yeah, the guy. I didn't have I didn't. No, and that's something that's increasingly happening these days for lots of reasons. We're all I think the last thing I heard it was a sunflower oil that was affecting fertility.
Really? Is that the new thing?
So that's the new thing. Apparently, we're getting oils from the wrong seeds.
I was talking about the Chinese remedy shops, and you can use like elephant tusk, and that all.
See, I've been told I'm not very fertile
by a doctor.
Yeah,
or just by people.
Just by people. People get that vibe from me that I don't have. Yeah, because I have endometriosis.
Yes,
What's that?
Thing, yeah.
It's basically when the monthly cycle of your uterus, it like puts a big duvet down of like bedding for the egg.
Okay.
To implant, and then that all sheds at the end of the month when there's no fertilized egg. But what happens with my uterus is instead of it building up normally, it grows like ivy, and it grows into my uterus wall and out of my uterus and into my cervix as well.
Wow. Is that how it was explained to you?
Yeah.
Like ivy.
Well, then I was like, because I've always had like monster periods.
Yeah.
But then I always thought I was just like really a wimp. Everyone had them. And then I went to the doctor, and he was like, "You have got a bulky uterus." And I was like, "Thank you."
I mean, you know what your uterus is like? Stranger Things.
Yeah.
The latest season when like you get like all those tree roots growing around people's houses and stuff. I mean, but it's remarkable. Let's just talk about this because I feel really strongly about how little advancement there is in the kind of medical support for like women's health. So I'll just say this, but basically I had a period for a year. Like this literally it was hideous, and they were like they took my blood and they tested everything. They were like fine. They scanned me, tested everything, and they were like they were fine. And I was like, what's wrong with me? They were like, oh, we don't know. And that was the extent of medical science. It's like, well, your blood is fine, your hormones are fine, you're a bit anemic obviously, and your womb looks fine other than the fact that you keep bleeding. And they were like,
they couldn't give you a cause or a cure.
They couldn't. That's how. And there's obviously, and like if you read a lot of women athletes are talking about periods, and now some more starting to be done to understand how
especially
your
if you're like stressed or your body fat percentages. You'll just stop getting.
There's just no research on it. Like it doesn't exist.
Do you feel like this is like an NHS failing? Like,
it's patriarchies in medical science like throughout it. Like, and this is one of the.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's just the kind of it's an outcome of science that uses male bodies as for study and experimentation and research, and like women's bodies are obviously different because we have quite complex reproductive biology.
So with your endometritis, your stuff, what's the cure?
There isn't really a cure. I take a prescription painkiller called mefenamic acid. That is like an anti-inflammatory, and then I also have to take a stomach protector with it because otherwise it will give me stomach ulcers.
Oh my!
Because it's like an acid, I guess. And then there isn't. You just sort of wait it out. Yeah. It's really bad for like 2 weeks of the month. But then the other 2 weeks, I'm good.
That's what a way to live.
so many conditions in women's health are managed and not cured.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, just do this. They were like, just stick in a coil.
And I've got the coil as well. I've got the coil as well.
And I was like, oh, okay then.
Do you reckon like this is like an NHS versus private healthcare? Do you think like
no, it would happen in private healthcare. This is
just
science.
faster. You get faster.
Yeah.
So nothing we can do
against faster. It's a science thing. It's not an NHS thing. The science just isn't there.
I like to think I'm very understanding and of women's bodies. That's why I put on my daily podcast. I live with my mum and my sister.
I love that you invited me to co-host, and now we are like going in on like
30 seconds. Let's talk about our wombs.
But I used to be bullied into buying sort of like sanitary towels and tampons and
Bullied into it.
Yeah, they would send me out and like go buy that
and piss their
Who's
pants.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mum and my sister. So
Okay.
I was quite awkward about buying them at first. Like I used to like just run through the section and then.
But do you think if it was not for your sister and mum, but for like a girl that you were going out with, you'd be like,
What, be like, yeah.
yeah, like
I mean, I've
yeah.
no issue getting it. I think if anything, it's a great way to meet women. Just like you both reach for the same one at the same time. Oh, you're heavy duty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
4 drops.
Also like wings. Yeah.
that's 4 drops, Annie.
I've been, oh yeah, I'm buying this for my mum who I still live with. And, and then we go on a date. So yeah, I think it's so I understand your pain. I empathize. I've been working on that, my empathy.
Really? That sounds...
I feel like I lack it.
Do you?
I lack it, empathy, and I'm trying to...
Give me an example of a situation in which you'd lack empathy.
Well, I think we're talking about babies. I don't really get them. I don't really understand them. Because I was watching this, it was like this Twitter video, and it was like a 3-year-old going to work in a chimney in like the 1920s, and he looked so happy and content. And I was like... These unions that, you know, are ruining the country, you know, look how happy he was. He was content. He had a purpose. And, you know, you have children, you know, they're just watching Coco Melon. Like, they're just like
but the thing
unemployed.
It's about like kids under, I don't know, 8 or 9 is that they actually love cosplaying as adults. They love prams. They love like their mini plastic ovens. And so what's the difference between that and just like a real chimney?
The key thing is sort of cosplay.
Yeah.
If it was a Fisher Price chimney with pretend soot on the top, but it was a real chimney. But children, they don't just love cosplaying. So whenever you do anything and you've got toddlers, if you're a good parent, your toddler will say, "Can I help? Can I help?" So if I go in the kitchen to make pancakes and my daughter says, "Can I help?" Or, you know, if I say, I'm going to clean the bathroom, she'll be like, "Can I help?" And I'm like, "Well, it's bleach. No. Or there's a cooker." So no, but so it's just one day a 3-year-old went up to some chimney street and said, "Can I help?" And they're like, actually, you fit up here.
You fit so
perfectly. Yeah, that's
perfectly.
the thing they do fit.
They do
exactly.
fit. So he was thrilled because he was like, "I can help." But the adult, in those situations, the adult should have probably known a bit better.
Yeah.
Do you think like toys are too gendered?
I don't think toys are gendered. I think toys represent things and adults are gendered. So like you have like a play cooker, it's just a cooker. It only becomes gendered if you only give it to a girl.
Right.
If you give it to whoever wants it, then it's just a toy. So I think sometimes the conversation talks too much about the object. It's never the object. The object is inanimate. It's always like the human that's dealing with it.
Because pink is just pink.
It's just
blue. Is just blue.
And kids just mirror. Kids are people pleasers, and they want to impress their parents, and do the right thing. I guess.
Getting that fucking chimney.
Getting that chimney.
And if you don't have a chimney, ovens. Ovens get dirty.
Ovens are really hard to clean.
Yeah, but I don't know, like, because obviously people have baby showers, and it's like it's getting like weird, like shooting the blue gun.
Gender reveal.
Gender reveal.
Oh yeah, or like the fart ones.
Yeah, and it's like it's a bit too much, and some people they don't like it, and I think it should just be like one beige color. Just like
I think there's something to be said about that. I think people are generally not very interested, and we are trying so hard to be like, "I'm having a baby, and look, it's a black girl." It's like, well, like we're just trying really, and also like cakes have become more elaborate, so it's just a way to make a cake elaborate because it can be like a different color. A lot of this stuff is capitalism.
Yeah,
it's capitalism. It's like also instant gratification.
Yeah.
Do you know what I find a red flag is like? When it's a pink balloon and it bursts, and then the man just like, "Oh man, I'm having a girl."
Yeah, I
upset
hate that
about the birth of life that he's having. Well, a lot of men, I think they're like.
I've seen TikToks where the women are really disappointed that they're having a girl, and that's so complicated.
No, girls are bad.
That's probably like some weird like. What world am I bringing?
I really want a daughter. I want a daughter, and I want to do what happened with my mum, where she's 17 and she's sobbing in her car about a boy, and I'm driving her around and like. It's gonna be okay.
Are you gonna be like friends with your daughter, like the Gilmore Girls?
Yeah, I want to have like a ladybird kind of relationship.
You can dress the same.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
In Ladybird,
her.
didn't she like jump out of a moving
Yeah, she
car?
did jump out of a moving car. So maybe not like that, but sort of. I like the idea of the car.
I find it weird being friends with your parents.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. Because like then it becomes harder to put them in a nursing home.
Yeah,
I feel like if you're friends.
And also, I think like
that's the trick. That's what I'm doing. I'm best mates with my kids.
Yeah. It's also like hard with boundaries because you do have to like teach them how to behave, and that's not always fun.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's the best part. Oh God, because it makes you feel like a responsible person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Did you-
cover your mouth when you cough.
Yeah. Have you always had like? Because I have always had a feeling that I'm just a kid. Do you know what I mean? Deep down, that someone's gonna like
I'm
find
just a
me
baby
out.
boy.
Someone's gonna find me out that I'm like whenever I send off like talk to my accountant or whatever, I'm just worried that he's just gonna accuse me that I'm ridiculous and I'm a ridiculous human being and I'm stupid. And I think if I had a kid, I would be like, you know what? I'm a grown up.
Yeah.
Because context, please.
But then anyone can have a kid.
Anyone can. And I think sometimes, so that's a really good example. So like accounting, for example, people think that's adulting. Accounting isn't adulting. That's just living in this horrible world where you've got to do paperwork. What adulting is like morality and, you know, telling them not to pick their nose when they're on the bus and don't eat off the floor. You know, just the stuff that keeps them alive and the stuff that keeps them sensible and all the stuff we think we're bad at that we think makes us bad parents actually doesn't make us bad parents. It just we just live in a bad world that makes us do things that are really counterintuitive to what happiness.
Are there any things that you automatically do as a parent, like because of your attachment style or whatever, that you've like you really want to grow out of and not do?
No, I'm a perfect parent. There's nothing worse. Maybe like there's this attitude that some parents have, which is let them do something dangerous once, they hurt themselves, they'll never do it again.
Such a hot parent.
Yeah, stuff like and that's not actually too far away from the truth. Like that's how learning through experience is really valuable. And I think that as parents we can I'm not saying like if you see them approaching a naked flame, please take their hand away from the flame. But a little bit of risk is good, I think, for everyone, including children, because you know they don't listen. No, they don't care, and also their brains aren't finished. So we try to deal with them in a logical way, and it's impossible because their brain. So that experience thing is something I'd probably like to you know, do more with them.
But I think, you know, I was reading an article about like something like that. I love saying that word.
I was reading an article. BuzzFeed.
Yeah. But I think like, especially raising like black kids, especially like in America or something like that, where, you know, everyone's got guns and shit. They have to feel like I can't let them be too risque because they might do a 20-year bid or be dead. Do you know what I mean? So it's a tough one to try and manage that. But at the same time, you got to let them have that personality. You know
you have to. I think that's one of the worst things you can do when you live in a majority white country as like a non-white person, is to kind of be really negative and think that you've got to protect your children from something, because ultimately
and like instill fear into them.
And the reason being is like we can sit in this podcast studio today and broadcast to the world. We work as comedians and writers. Like this devastating view we have of the world is only like one aspect of the world. There are things that are going to happen to them and things that they're going to experience that are truly based on the fact that they are black children. However, there is much space for happiness and
there's lots of joy
and success. You know, like they're really, and I think it's important not to be too despondent. And I want to make them aware of obstacles, but those obstacles are massively surmountable now.
Because like when you hear someone like a black parent say, you have to work twice as hard to get half. I'm like, I don't know. Why would you say that?
But also, you might have to, but that makes you twice as good as everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, what would you rather? That you got stuff by doing half as work? Why would you want that?
By saying that, you then have to be like, you have to follow it up with that rather than being like, so don't bother.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would I want white privilege? Why would I want to fail upwards? I mean, that's just horrible.
Embarrassing.
I feel, but it's shitty. Like, we never have that perspective. Like,
being fully white is kind of cringe.
Lucas.
Like, do you ever think about like the idea of like two white people like getting married, and it just makes me wince. Like,
but this is the other conversation, right? Like, there's now this narrative that it's like, okay, well, what is progress? And it's like, fine, like it's so horrible being white. Let me just find like a brown person. It's like, no, we can't fix you. Literally nothing to do with us. Like we tried with Harry. Look at him; he's making more of a mess of it.
Oh God,
you know. So it's
and also like I think whenever these debates like happen and they get subsumed by like the larger like culture at large, they just lose all of their nuance and they become this thing of like or like someone is in this category or they're in the other category.
Like the word woke, it used to mean something. Like it actually used to mean something, but now I don't. It's just like anything that the white wing people don't like is woke, and it's like if you ask them to what is it? What is woke about this? Then you trip them up. Just I feel like certain words we've got to start gatekeeping words again. Do you know what I mean? Once they get out into the public.
Oh, absolutely. Like, but we did try to get woke back because how many? I mean, it's just such a big part of discourse. Like, this is a black thing about black consciousness, right? And I think nothing is more well documented than the origins of the word woke. But we can't stop white people using it incorrectly.
Mm.
Like we just can't. Like people are like, oh, recycling is woke. Like no, it's not. It's just efficient. Like it's literally better to recycle it than to dig something out of the ground again. Right? It's not woke. Rinsing out your yogurt pot is woke. Well, not really. It's just so
you just got to keep making up new words, man. That's what black
what's
people do.
the new word for woke?
I don't know. I've realised that I was saying last week, cancelled is I think gone.
Oh yeah, cancel's gone. Yeah,
I think people are using the Matrix now. Like the Matrix, the
the red
out
pill
to get
thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But then that's more kind of conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but I think that's what it's morphed into.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I think people are more actively stupid on purpose now. Because I always feel like with certain things, this is wrong and this is unlikely, but you're just like going with the chaos.
Yeah, there's a lot of disingenuous kind of opinionating at the moment. And that's because people have agendas and they're realizing now that the way to get what they want or the way to create a narrative is just to be like stubborn as fuck. I'm going to be really stubborn about this.
And like cancelling someone is a way of like coercing, is a way of like just using shame as a form of social control as well. Because you're basically being like, I'm in control of society because this person's over. It's not very ethical.
You don't think cancelling is ever like necessary? I mean, what is?
I think it is necessary sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely necessary sometimes. Like some people are just abhorrent, and and I say this all the time. I'm always saying it. Like we've been cancelling people just as a society since we were cavemen.
Yeah,
if you're caveman Dave and you undercook the rhinoceros and you kill everyone in your tribe,
you're gonna get cancelled.
Like it's just we've always had opinions on behaviours, and when someone's behaviour isn't acceptable, we've been like, well, actually, we don't like it. It's
too easy though, like to say like, oh, you're banished, but like they're still gonna be in this world. It's surely like it's like prison. You got to rehabilitate. Maybe not us specifically. It's not up to us, but like just the idea that you are gone now. It doesn't really. I don't think it's sustainable.
But that doesn't really happen. It only happens to people who aren't in the public eye. So there's people, for example, who have ordinary jobs. They do mad things. They get sacked and they can't get a job again. And we never hear about those people. No. But the famous people who say I've been cancelled, and obviously if they're saying it, and they're normally on like Jeremy Vine or some show, and it's like, well, if you're cancelled, how come I've literally
still got a voice?
I've literally never heard. I didn't know anything about J.K. Rowling ever. I never read her books. I never watched the movies. I preferred Philip Pullman, and he got cancelled actually, funny enough. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why did Philip Pullman
because there was a big writer controversy, and a white writer got criticised for doing something which I've even forgotten now, and he called her detractors terrorists, and some of those writers who were criticising another writer were Muslim, and that got him cancelled. Right. And obviously he shouldn't have said that. It was and I don't know how that was resolved. But anyway, with J.K. Rowling, it's like everyone says she's cancelled. I've never seen or heard so much of her. Like it's phenomenal.
There are also 50 shades of cancellation. Someone can get cancelled for like doing something that could have been like quite accidental or like actually quite innocuous and like just an off the cuff thing that then
like Larry David every week.
Yeah. But then like J.K. Rowling is just like a full on turf hater,
Yeah, she's I've not done enough research on all of that stuff, but she just seemed to like be obsessed with it, like the IT crowd.
I feel like that's what they want,
Yeah,
it's hysteria, and I think people do buy in. I think she genuinely believes what she says. I don't think she has an agenda. I think she believes in it, and she's a billionaire. So it's she's gone Mr. Burns full on with it, and it's just I think this is what I think is right, and she's got all the people around there, and she's got the money to have her campaigns and her supporters, so there's no talking to her really.
No.
It'd be interesting to see her like have an actual discourse with somebody, like, because whenever I see the debate on Twitter, I can't.
Oh, I've muted it all now.
I can't make sense of it all.
Yeah,
I think that's good. Like just like muting Twitter, because
I mute so much.
I like your Twitter though, because there's a lot of stuff on there.
Oh, thank you.
I've been seeing some plays. You retweeted something about.
There's some nice threads about black plays.
Yeah.
This is something too, like. It's 2023. If I want to go out and see a black play in London, I can watch one. I walk out the house, there's black people all over billboards. I turn on the TV, there's black people on TV. I watch sports. We're running all the sports. So this is kind of what I mean about, like, as black people, what are we telling our children? Are we... Because it's really easy to... I'm not naive, by the way. I know what time it is. But I think we do have to adjust the way we talk about our situation in this country. We have other problems. For example, we don't have a black middle class. We've finally got seats at the table, and we're not educationally doing any better, or we're not financially doing any better in terms of like having a property owning class. We are still having to deal with all the stuff with the police. So the things we thought would get us somewhere haven't got us where we want to be. That's the conversation. But if my child wants to be a doctor, I think I can safely say she's probably going to be able to pursue that.
I always say I'd rather be black in London than maybe white and poor in Middlesbrough.
Absolutely. But this is a really good point. And this is the other thing too. Like, if the white British aristocracy, political class, ruling class don't care about working class white people, why do we think they care about us? That whole narrative of, if we get enough MBEs, it's like, no. Like,
but it is also the thing of like my boyfriend's in medical school and he's white, and he's like basically the only white boy in medical school.
Oh, really?
Because everyone else has like really hardworking immigrant parents that like tuned it into them. Like, you can't just fuck about for your whole life.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
And I think that actually like instilling in people that they have to like work hard for something, even if the reasons behind you doing that are like from like the scar tissue of your culture and pain, there are huge benefits to like,
But I don't know,
mentality.
Because sometimes your parents can sometimes lead you down a path of seeking white validation, or you look like a Rishi Sunak or something like that. His parents were like pharmacists and whatnot, and they told him to work hard, and he's ended up like a Tory who like thinks that is the definition.
I think there's a difference between assimilation and vocational security. So the example I give is like, I'm second generation, so my parents came over here. They didn't come over here for me to be happy. They came over here for me to be a doctor. You know what I mean? They didn't come over here for that. And I think, but then there's the mentality of, for example, like a lot of people who came from like sort of Indian communities in Africa, and a lot of African parents were middle class, and they came over here to assimilate. And that, I think those are two distinct kind of mentalities. And I'm in favour of one and not in favour of the other, obviously, because it doesn't matter. I mean, Rishi Sunak now is since he's been prime minister, he's been a really good example of not all skin folk are kinfolk.
Yeah.
So to speak.
He's trying to ban strikes, man.
I mean, it's just remarkable.
And Priti Patel as well. It's like, just because, and also that like proves to us that like, just I think there's such an instinct, especially on Twitter, to like categorize someone as like having morality for being a member of a minority, and just because they can still be evil, you know?
That is liberal racism.
Yeah.
Like, it's celebrate. We should see that. Yeah, it's my word of sorry. And it's like, but he doesn't want to pay public sector workers. Public sector workers
doesn't mean that he cares
serve
about
the public.
you.
They're literally, they're the blood that runs through the veins of this country. Like, if that stops running, nothing works. We're this is really important. We're on the verge of a national strike, and they're wasting parliamentary time talking about banning strikes when they should be literally getting around the table and saying, how do we make this country work again?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
They're
crazy.
Just being like, how can we make it so that strikes aren't really allowed, or you're only allowed to strike a certain amount?
This is parliamentary time.
Yeah,
okay.
It's interesting because I see the newspapers, they're still on the demonizing the unions, right? But I'm like, at this point, everybody knows somebody who's striking. In the family. So like, what are you, like, the media and what, they're still going for the angle like, oh, look at these guys demon. I'd be like, no, there's enough people striking now where it's like everyone can see that this is fucked up.
Yeah.
But they still
and it goes
seem
on
to
for long
push,
enough that you're like, oh, okay, I don't think it's a them problem. I think it's like a government problem.
Because it's not just trains, it's postal, it's nurses, it's doctors, it's teachers,
lecturers.
So clearly it's a situation but I don't know how this ends.
Do you think comedians will ever go on strike?
No one will care. What do you picket? What do you picket? Don't come to the shipping container. Don't come in here, please. I know you really want to.
As I said, I wake up at 2 p.m. I don't know. I'll miss the strike, even if anything. But I don't know, man. Especially banning strikes when like we just keep finding out how shit the police are. It just feels wrong move.
Well, from just a practical point of view, it's just not pragmatic. Like, what is your job? Your job is to run the country for the people. You yourself are a public sector worker,
you're
right?
supposed to protect people.
And this doesn't protect us in any way, shape, or form, because guess what? If you ban strikes, I'll just keep striking. And even their thing like, if you strike, we're getting contractor workers. Really, you're just getting a contractor to fix the train signals. Some 18-year-old in a high vis with a spanner. What's he going to do? So they're not being practical or pragmatic, and I'm struggling to think of reasons why. Actually,
I think they stare at a picture of Thatcher every day.
They want the NHS to fail.
Yeah.
on some level.
I was watching that movie the other day. Meryl Streep, she played her well.
Yeah, she's
she
too
did.
sexy though to be Margaret. So
Meryl
was
Streep
Gillian
is-
Anderson.
Gillian Anderson was Thatcher as well.
In
Yeah.
The Crown.
Was she in The Crown?
I
Okay.
think
I saw stills of her, I think. Was it Gillian Anderson?
It was the sexy one that was in The Fall.
Yeah. She was sexy
she was,
Thatcher.
Yeah, she was sexy, and I was like, that's just. There was a Tory that cast that, you know.
Yeah. I think some people
Why do you have
said.
to cast her so sexy, you know?
I think some
And
people
also
said they
The
found her
Crown.
aura sexy.
Yeah, her aura is sexy.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Dominic West was cast as Prince Charles, which was outrageous to me.
I don't think he's aged that well.
Dominic
Cut that
West.
out because
Dominic or Prince Charles?
Dominic West,
Okay,
Prince Charles.
that-
Because
Prince Charles never. I don't think he came into the world that well. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't much to.
He wasn't born
Yeah.
on a high level.
Yeah.
But Dominic West, like that status that he had, like from the Wire days, I don't think he's
Yeah.
that. He doesn't. I mean, it's just a personal choice, guys. But for me, he doesn't do it for me like he did in the Wire.
He doesn't
days.
listen. You can say this on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
He might do.
He
It doesn't
might.
matter.
I just think I kind of agree with you. I don't think he's like a god, but I do think he's too sexy to be Prince Charles.
But then what? I mean,
But then who do you get?
who you know, like that's
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
Who isn't? You know,
Yeah,
like.
and maybe if you cast someone really ugly, maybe you get like done for treason or something.
This is true.
Do you think Prince Charles kind
Yeah.
of vetoed?
Yeah, yeah.
He was at the auditions.
I think they are like pretty well connected in there. So they'll have insiders. They'll give like
Yeah,
hints and
Give
whatnot.
tips. Mm.
Well, they're really trashy family now. I mean,
They've always been trashy. Oh, don't get me started. My whole life, their royal family has been trashy. Okay, Fergie got her toes sucked off by her accountant, fucking topless.
Listen,
Do
you
you know
gotta
what I
pay.
mean?
You gotta pay somehow. You know what I mean?
The other one, Edward.
Yeah.
All of her kids. Failed marriages,
Yeah.
affairs, even the whole thing about Prince Charles. Like, you know, the whole thing about Charles and Diana was that he was supposed to marry Camilla, but they wouldn't let him marry her because she wasn't a virgin. It's a trashy family.
Really?
That's why it says that there's like a big age difference between Diana and Charles, right? So that was the whole thing. Like, here's a fine young
They couldn't
lady.
find one.
Yeah, exactly. her.
So
So
that
that-
cough.
So that's the start of that whole thing, you
Mhm.
know. And it's just the whole thing is trash. It's a house. It literally is a house of cards. So when Harry comes along and says, "Oh my God, this is terrible," so have you been like? Have
Yeah.
you been? Like what are you talking about? Your whole family is trash.
It's interesting because the Kardashians are actually classing up. They're going up. I feel like they could.
They're settling down now.
Yeah.
Because once you had Kanye was like, well, we can't.
Yeah.
Like Kanye fixed that family with his absolute trashiness. They looked at him and they was like, let's settle down, guys.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
stick with one guy and just be nice families
Yeah,
now.
and at the expense of his soul, I guess.
Mm.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, you know,
I've-
Kanye's Kanye. He's a good designer. I'm happy he's cancelled.
I don't know. I reckon he'll come back.
I hope he doesn't. But I think in order for him to come back, he'd have to demonstrate some real learning because he was just so racist.
But I think people
so
forget.
racist.
I think
you know.
people have amnesia about Kanye because his album is so good. There's amnesia in the album.
He'll come back like he'll be like, I'm gonna design like a Jewish museum, but
Yeah.
he'll
Could
do it
you
like really
imagine?
minimalist.
Just-
Yeah.
This is
Maybe
like-
he's like got the thing like over his head. He's got loads of facial surgery to make
He's
himself
gonna
look like
convert.
Anne
He's
Frank.
gonna find a Jewish wife
Hey,
and
run
just
convert.
convert.
That is
Yeah.
a way back in.
Come back and he's like a full-on like Hasidic Jew with the plaits.
I've got some topics to talk about because I do research
Oh,
for this pod. I'm sort of like Elliot's sort of the chaos factor, which you are bringing today.
Thank you.
Have you seen her injury?
I did notice that. What did you do?
My boyfriend hit me in the head with a cricket bat.
Oh no.
It was
Men
an
are not supposed to
accident.
do that.
Yeah.
he wasn't supposed to do that. We were walking a dog, and he was trying to lob it really far, and he just went in for the swing, knocked me out.
Why were you walking a dog with a cricket bat?
Because we were trying to like lob the. It was like a crazy dog, and we just wanted to tire it out. So we thought if we whack the ball really far,
Oh.
then it will run a lot. But then he just whacked me in.
Don't you have a tennis racket? I feel like a tennis
No.
racket would smash it.
Also, you and your boyfriend, what's going on with your arm strength? Where you're not comfortable with it?
Throwing a ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's a couple
I think
activity.
there are a
Work on
lot
your
of
biceps.
questions.
Because like if you knock a ball out for 6, that's a really long run
Yeah.
for the dog.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you
But
really
that was
trying
the
to knock
point.
it out the
we
park.
were really trying to tire out this crazy dog.
Yeah,
But you didn't want to move.
Yeah, I didn't want
So,
to move.
right,
But
so
I
you-
didn't move because I did lose consciousness.
Yeah, that's
Um,
terrible. Did he
Wait,
say
hang
sorry?
on, where's my phone? I can show
he
you.
hasn't even bought her any hitting her in the head jewelry to
No,
make
he
up for it.
hasn't even transferred.
Not
me
even a
50 grand.
car?
Yeah, he got.
Have
me-
you been in an accident that wasn't your fault?
Yeah, for sure. Wait, let me
Yeah,
show
my
you
boyfriend smacked me with a cricket
what it
bat.
actually looked like. So when I first got hit, it looks like this.
Oh my goodness! Show it to the camera. Wow.
That's really bad. When did this happen?
On the weekend.
Oh, so it's gone down quickly.
Yeah, and
That's
then
good.
that's me sobbing in A&E, and then
And you passed out.
I passed out and I couldn't see for 10 seconds. They didn't do a scan though, but they did like an exam, and I had a bit of like bruising behind the ear, which is like a sign that
When you were knocked out, he punched you in the back of the head.
But yeah, pretty serious.
That's really serious.
Is this your first concussion?
Yeah. Actually, no, because
No, because you did it again. You did it before, the weekend before. No dog this time.
So when I was about 8 or 9, me and my mum were like doing last minute Christmas shopping in the Tesco's in South Ken. You know that big one. And there was
no, actually, I don't. I didn't know South Ken had a Tesco's.
It's not like a multi-story Tesco, and there was a big fight that broke out between two men in the aisle that clearly had a checkered past, and one of them had like a lame wife that he in a wheelchair that he was ramming into the other guy, and then the other guy picked up a big netted bag of Brussels sprouts, threw it up into the air, and punched it, and all the Brussels sprouts went flying everywhere, and I got a Brussels sprout hit in each eye.
Really? That's actually quite impressive.
That's a very West Ken fighting story.
And
that's a weird display of masculinity.
If it was Walthamstow, it would have been like a potato.
Yeah.
Potato to the face. That's fucking crazy. Have you ever been attacked?
Not. I don't think I've been hitting my head. I've fallen over and stuff like that. I've walked into like open cupboards, but like touch wood, I've not had a deliberate or not deliberate.
I got
face.
I got hit with a hockey stick in year 9.
Oh, hockey's a violent sport.
Oh, I hate
god,
hockey.
hockey's the worst sport. Oh.
Yeah, so I got hit in the eye.
By the stick or the ball?
By the stick.
Oh no.
My eye blew up, and all the kids were like, "You should fight him." I was like, "But he's so much bigger. He would do my other eye."
Did he apologize to you?
He did. It was an accident, and I was on the floor.
Yeah.
Because I was like, my position was to be the funny hockey player. So I was like, I'm gonna just chill on the floor, and then I got hit in the. It was my fault actually entirely. So
because you were like, is it called the ball? Is it the puck or what do they call it?
The
in
puck,
hockey?
but it wasn't ice hockey. It was like,
just normal hockey. It's just the ball, right?
Just ground hockey.
So he thought you were the ball. I don't understand.
Yeah, I was just like low.
Also, like, isn't the stick meant to be on the floor? So the fact that it was so high up.
Yeah, actually, no. I changed back. It's his fault.
It was his fault.
He was aiming for you. He was like, fucking.
We were playing imaginary hockey, so there was no ball. My school was really poor.
You were in a classroom and
sports.
you all had hockey sticks.
Yeah.
Just
and then
hit
it was
Michael
the injury. So I've got a philosophical, a couple topics we can talk about. Not that all of this hasn't been philosophy. We've talked about how to raise children, how to get concussion. You know, but
ovaries,
eyebrows. I wanted to ask, why is it awkward in society to talk about money?
Is it awkward?
I think it's awkward.
I talk about money all the time. Are you? No.
Okay, on a count of 3, let's all say how much we made this year. 1, 2. You see?
I can't.
It's awkward to talk about how much you earn. It's not awkward to talk about money.
No, it is because it's the same thing.
I'm awkward talking about money.
Why?
Because, if you don't make very much, you don't want people to feel bad for you. But also, if you make too much, you don't want people to be like, oh, okay. But if it depends. I think big money, I don't want to talk about. But like small, if someone comes up to me and is like, I like your jumper, I'll be like, yeah, it was £4. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of thing that I talk about.
Really? So this was an expensive cardigan.
Yeah. How much?
Right. I can't see. I can't.
How much? You can't tell. Over triple digits?
Can we guess? Can we guess?
Guess how much.
Because also, like, I think expensive for a cardigan is £60. Was it
more than £60?
£119.
More than that.
160?
Slightly more than that.
200.
£200 cardigan.
Wow.
But are you shivering right now?
I'm warm.
See, I'm shivering right now. I'm not in a £200 cardigan.
Well, if I was to give this to you, you'd be. So I didn't buy it because it was.
And you haven't. I've noticed that you haven't offered it to either of us. Just been sat there in your £200 cardigan.
But now, do you? I feel like judged. Like, why?
No, I wouldn't judge you for. I don't.
I
don't judge people for how much they spend on clothes. And also, I think that garments, like designer clothes, you're not going to throw it in the bin, are you?
No.
You're going to keep that cardigan.
No.
You're going to wash it at 30, yeah?
You can end up spending a lot of money if you buy stuff that falls apart.
Yeah.
You know?
So right, but but I feel like society it judges you more.
Yeah.
Society's fucking stupid. Don't worry about society. They're idiots.
Then on the count of three, let's say how much we made.
Okay, do you know what? I'm not going to do it on air, but I'm gonna. This is the God's honest truth. When I talk to people, I do talk about how much off air, like in comedies, particularly like just people who are newer out. I do say this is how much you get paid for this job. This is how much this job pays, or whatever. You're right. I might not be. If someone came up to me and said, "Oh, how much did you earn last year?" I might be like, "Fuck off."
Yeah.
But if they're like, "How much did this job pay you? How much did this job pay you?" I will say because I don't want people to get ripped off.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So say we working in an office. I know there's a lot of secrecy.
How much is Elliot getting paid for this skiing trip? That's what I want to know.
I think he's in debt. I think he might be in debt from that.
Really?
Yeah, probably. Because it's actually therapy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So let's say.
Did you make therapy tax deductible?
Probably.
When you're an entertainer, that's the one good thing. There's a lot you can apply. You can do makeup. Do you know you can make up?
Yeah, I do makeup and I do nails.
Makeup, like maintenance.
I think therapy makes your jokes worse. There's no trauma. So it's actually it's expense. You get more. But I don't know. I feel. Do you think society would be better if everyone wore a name badge saying how much they made that year?
You don't need to,
because then you would know who to rob.
But you kind of know what people earn because of what they do for a living. Like when I had a proper job, everyone knew what everyone was on because I worked for a lot in the public sector and it's all done on pay bands. So you just knew if someone was a pay band A, B, C, D, E, it meant something. And when I was a contractor, you would know day rates because you'd have to negotiate your day rates. So you'd kind of have a way of knowing what your day rate was worth. And if you got wind, someone's getting more, you'd be like, I want what that guy's getting. So it happens,
Comedy's mad as well because you kind of can't be awkward because I've had gigs where like I've gotten paid like 200 quid for 20 minutes and the headline is also doing 20 minutes.
That's a whole cardigan.
But gets paid like £800 for the same amount of time just for being slightly later on.
Okay, so you do a gig, you find out you've been paid less, you go and be like, I
don't.
But I probably wouldn't do it again. Yeah. So if it was like a live show.
Or I do it, I take like the headliner spot, but obviously I'm not going to get offered that, so I just don't do it again.
Okay, so let's say you get offered a gig in advance.
Yeah.
And you're like, do you ever haggle for more?
No.
It depends. What I do is if someone offers me a gig and the fee isn't large enough, I just say I can't do this. The fee's not large enough.
Oh really?
Yeah, especially, and I've got childcare. So like I say, it literally costs me 60 to 80 quid a night to get out of the house.
Yeah, so if someone, it has to be worth it.
But you shouldn't need kids to say that. You should just be like, thanks for. I just say thanks for offering, but that fee's not appropriate or whatever.
A couple of years ago, I had a really big conversation like with myself where I was like, I'm no longer gonna do gigs outside of London for free.
Yeah, it's really important. Like you pay your dues in comedy.
Yeah. And then suddenly I was like, you know what? I'm done doing that. If they pay my travel and then 50 quid, then I'll do it. But like,
there has to be
something. Otherwise, you know what? I can just do like a shitty club in London for 50 and it's fine.
So do we think people should be less secretive and just be more honest?
I think it's quite British, isn't it? To be quite like.
I think it's universal. I would say it's universal.
I don't think you need to be proactive about it. I don't think you need to proactively advertise what you earn. But I think there are situations where that conversation is beneficial to, at least one party or both. And I think, and I've genuinely always been happy to talk about what I earn because I know that
it's helpful.
That there's so much piss taken out of there.
Yeah.
Particularly with writing too. Like there's a lot of piss taken.
Yeah.
So I definitely do share what I get.
I think if I was married, I would tell my partner what's in my main account.
Your savings account.
Anything on another island, that's you have to ask.
Also, it was like hard because I had like a day job and was doing comedy for a while, and like it's hard because I didn't take the money I earned from comedy seriously because it was so unreliable. So like every 3 months I'd get a few hundred quid, or like I'd randomly get $1,000 for something, and that to me wasn't real money. Because it wasn't my day job money.
Bonus money.
So I was like, this is just free money.
Yeah.
But now that I do comedy basically full time and like a tiny bit of tutoring, I can't do that anymore. And that's tough.
That is tough. Any money that's cash in hand, I don't consider it.
I mean, HMRC listen to all our podcasts.
Should have said that.
They listen to all of our podcasts.
Wait, is that illegal? Because
it's absolutely illegal. Oh my God, stop talking. I feel like your brothers now. Don't talk about your cash in hand job. If you was plumbers, there are plumbers. This is this podcast, and these people are stupid. What are you doing? Cash in hand, just for the record, cash in hand doesn't exist in the comedy world.
No,
it doesn't exist. Let me say this to the camera. Yeah. We get paid, we invoice for all of our work and it will go straight into our accounts. There is no cash in hand in the comedy world anymore. In 2023, it's done. Like racism, it's all over. It's done.
I have money.
Damn, you're not ruining it for all of us, you know. Fucking hell.
I have money underneath an armchair. But again, that's
like
armchair
Ramaphosa in South Africa. The South African president, right? This is just going to tell it. They found like just all this money in a sofa, and it's like it's scandalous. It's making the ANC fall apart. It's like, why is this guy? Because he's a millionaire anyway, right? So why is this? He's actually he's a really wealthy guy.
Yeah.
Why has he got a sofa full of?
That was his cash in hand sofa.
That's what bothers me about Africa. I
Cash
feel
in
like
pouch.
the corruption is too much. Whereas like it's the British, we have corruption too. But I feel like they know enough to keep the basic services running.
We're a really corrupt society, I think. I mean, we've seen that in the last couple of years. I don't think the corruption in Africa is any different. It's just the corrupt because the civil service in African countries is so young. It has more impact on the people, which is why it's so devastating. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like tax revenues, like Britain gets so much in tax revenues. If you know, if the government squander billions, the trains still roughly work. I mean, they don't, but you know, the country things. But if you squander billions in a country that has much lower tax revenues for lots of reasons, it's more problematic. So I think the scale of it isn't the issue. I think it's the impact.
Okay, so that's it. Because I also heard a lot about like France. They still charge in certain countries money. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So the ex colonies of France are still French countries. So they use the euro. They have a welfare state. They abide by French laws, and for that reason, they still pay taxes to France.
That's what I was saying on the Patreon. Why I hate the French.
Britain. We think we were good at colonizing. The French were better.
Yeah,
like we forget about this. The French were better, the Belgians were, but their exploitation was way worse than ours because we were all aristocratic about it. They did not give a shit, and you know they still don't.
Yeah, well that's why like British history books.
And they're rude.
Bread.
They think their bread is amazing.
Yeah. Their bread is amazing, but it's only amazing for a day.
Yeah, exactly.
I can keep Hovis in the fridge for 2 weeks. Exactly. A baguette. 30 minutes out the shop.
Cardboard when you first buy it, and it tastes like that.
Why am I using
later.
that much bread? How am I supposed to use that? You know what I mean?
How are you supposed to get through a loaf if you're just one guy?
Who needs 3 feet of bread?
Yeah,
colonialism and bread, those two things, and they probably stole that bread off.
Yeah,
flour from somebody anyway. So do you know what I mean?
It's all corrupt.
Okay, so
Haitian
counter
flour.
three. We're saying no, never mind. But I like my favorite activity. I like googling net worths.
Yeah, me too.
Judge Judy
love
is fucking
Googling.
loaded, man.
Oh, I bet she is. Yeah. Everyone knows Judge Judy.
Yeah, fucking.
I'm really curious to know what you made in the tax year that you just submitted.
Why?
It's interesting.
I'm going to tell you that off air.
Yeah, I can tell you off air.
No, don't tell me now. I don't want you to tell you now.
You want to know just from comedy or from others as well?
I don't know how much money I made last year.
But do you submit tax return?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Because it's like the deadline is coming. So if you don't know, you've got 2 weeks to find out.
I submitted a tax return. This cardigan
7 years ago, I submitted a tax return. Put my EMA on it.
This cardigan was £4.50. I lied. I'm actually bankrupt, people. Please, legally.
You've got debt collectors chasing you.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
why you have to hide in the shipping container.
100%.
You know.
I hope they don't find that armchair, man. But no, I pay my tax ever since I read about what happened to Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, you've got to pay your taxes, man.
He made Blade 2.
Yeah,
it's a bad film. So pay your taxes. Otherwise, you have to do Blade 2.
Or Grown Ups 2.
He was in Grown Ups 2?
No, who did that? Chris Rock.
Because he didn't pay his taxes?
No, because he spent all his money on divorce.
Fuck, man.
That's why if you've been married to someone for like decades, you want to think about your affairs. Like, is it worth me having sex with this woman who is not my wife? Because she was, because that's the thing. It's, especially because that's the whole thing about marriage. Like when you knew someone when you was on your come up, they are part of that, and you've gotten used to a lifestyle that they want to remain accustomed to.
Yeah, if they got in on the ground floor, you've got to be really.
Yeah. So if you're gonna cheat early.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't want to sound like a stereotype, but I don't really get child support. I don't.
You know, Michael.
Like,
please explain.
Just in terms of like celebrity wise, it's like, I need 20K a month for the kid. I'm like, I don't know if the kid.
I'm going to explain this. This is about maintaining the lifestyle that you have gotten your wife and your child accustomed to. So if you have chosen to exit a relationship, but your child's in private school, for example, and most celebrity children in private school, that has to be, if your child is used to wearing $200 cardigans. So it really is about the maintenance of a lifestyle that you have built with your ex-partner. That's what it is. People get it twisted.
I think kids that like have loads of money up until they're 10 and then their parents lose all the money, that gives you issues probably.
And builds character.
Yeah. But it's really like, if you've decided that that's the life you want for your children, you have decided not to be with your partner. but you haven't changed that decision about how to raise your children. So that's why it's very important to think about who you build your life with, because you have the life you build with them. You will be expected to fund the maintenance of that life should the relationship end.
So what I hear is it's important to think about how much you spend on your kids.
I spend fuck all.
You've got to get them used to it, you know.
I'll raise them in a commune. We've got a couple of minutes left, but this has been a really great episode. I've really enjoyed it. Guys.
That sounded like standard. Right. So here's the stuff you said. This was a great episode, Bella. All right.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about my taxes. Actually, that's why my mind's elsewhere. What have you got? Anything to promote? Anything you wanna shout out?
Oh,
we normally do.
Athena parenting classes, how to make them have accidents,
Yeah.
so they can learn from them.
Okay.
Pushing down hills. No, I've got I do a podcast. I've got a podcast as Why Does My Child Hate Me?
Okay.
It's a true story. It's a true podcast, and we've got to put an episode out soon. So keep an eye on my stuff, it will come out eventually.
Me and you have children.
Yeah,
together or separately, we're on this pod.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We will, and that would be great.
I think my child like me.
The funny thing is, the both of you, like, you can always tell when someone would have like good parenting vibes. The both of you got good parenting vibes.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, chilled, laid back, and also humility.
I'm neurotic though.
Yeah, that's fine. Look, being a parent makes you neurotic. You worry all the time.
My mum was so neurotic about me riding a bike that she didn't let me get my cycling proficiency.
No way.
And now I can't really ride a bike.
I teach people how to ride bikes. I used to. That was one of my old jobs. Yeah. I talk about this all the time.
Hell yeah.
And you're good. How tall are you?
5'4".
Oh, that's amazing, because tall adults are a nightmare to teach how to cycle, because you've got to hold the bike and your centre of gravity is so high. Oh, but you'd be good, yeah. So whenever a tall person needed some help, I'd be like, just live without it, mate.
No,
like,
I'm a little
get the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents never taught me how to love, so that's why.
It's too dangerous.
Bella, what do you have to promote? Do you have stuff you need?
What do I have to promote? I have a podcast with Jacob Hawley called Last Night Out.
Okay, I've been on it.
You've been on it. Series 2, I guess, coming soon. I'm doing a beer mat flipping contest with Stuart Laws and Sakisa at 21 Soho in March.
Are you still concussed?
Yeah, I'm still concussed. Also, I'm doing my Soho Theatre show on the 3rd.
I feel like you should have led with that.
Yeah, I always forget about that one because I'm sort of blocking it out because I'm so stressed about it. But anyway.
Congratulations, Soho Theatre. That's big.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Well, it's like my Edinburgh show, so I've sort of forgotten it, but I'm just going to have to it's also at that point where at the end of Fringe when you have
stop underselling it.
You're just like, I just need to relearn the fucking show. Basically.
Yeah. Well, ever since you got hit with that cricket bat, it must be hard to kind of remember stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do I mean? I found a car that I like, so I'm no longer looking for a car, but car insurance. If anybody knows like good policies or anything like that.
Oh, you know what you should do? Get a partner. Right? Because you went 2 people's names on the car insurance. Poof.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
All right.
My car insurance halved, mate.
Wants to be in love with me, so I can.
No, don't do it for love. Do it for the car insurance.
Okay. Anybody wants to go halves on car insurance?
Yeah. Also, and cohabit. You got to live together.
Yeah.
You got to live together, and then both own a car, or better still, have the same car with 2 names on it.
Where's my mum gonna stay? Oh, she can be in my room. I didn't even think about that. The girl can. No, the girl, not my mum. Yeah. Okay.
Whatever your arrangements, that's fine. It's fine.
Don't sit on that armchair though. Also, if anyone knows about good rims for Ford Focus, I'd love to get them shit spinning. But this has been Btec Philosophers. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back again next week. And also the National Comedy Awards voting has closed, so I don't know why. I don't know.
Oh really? I was gonna vote.
So if you didn't vote, why, guys? Come on, man. But been Btec Philosophers. See you next time. Appreciate you.